Right now, noon, President Trump says he now supports House Republicans voting to release the Epstein files. What's behind the change and how the vote could look as early as tomorrow. Plus, the Packers get out of New York with a win, but at what cost? The latest on the status of their star running back. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on a Monday afternoon. I'm Josh Breiter. We begin with breaking news at this hour and a live look at the Beltline at Todd Drive. Right now, police are blocking all westbound lanes due to a crash, and 2 eastbound lanes are also closed. There was a huge car fire here within the last hour, so definitely a mess of traffic out there. These are pictures sent in by a News 3 Now viewer at the scene. This all happened a little after 11, and we're told cleanup may take another hour to complete. Look at that car right there. You can see the flames. So far, no word on how many people were inside that vehicle or their conditions. We'll hope to have an update on this story later today on News 3 Now and channel3000.com. Right now, one person is recovering after showing up to a Taco Bell with a gunshot wound. Madison police say they believe that person will survive after being taken to the hospital. It happened last night at the Taco Bell at Odana Road and Whitney Way. Our photographer on the scene witnessed multiple Madison police cars and fire department vehicles outside the Taco Bell late last night. Madison police do not believe there is any danger to the public at this time, but are still investigating. Madison police also investigating a shooting south of the Isthmus. This happened at the Burger King on West Badger Road around 8 o'clock last night. Our photographer there saw multiple police officers, including a K-9 unit and a drone, as well as numerous shell casings being marked on the ground. Nobody was injured in this incident, and police say there is no threat to the public. Officials cannot confirm if both these incidents were related. Lakeside Fire and Rescue is releasing new details about a weekend fire in Edgerton that killed a cat and left a family without their home. Crews from Edgerton and Milton were called to West Fulton Street Saturday night. Those crews requested support from Janesville, the town of Turtle, and Stoughton. Firefighters rescued 2 dogs and a cat, but another cat died from smoke inhalation. It took about 3 hours to put out the fire. The family wasn't home and no firefighters were hurt. Investigators believe the fire started in the kitchen, but the exact cause is still under investigation. The House is set to vote as early as tomorrow on a bill compelling the DOJ to release all the files it has on Jeffrey Epstein. As Natalie Brand reports, in the face of growing GOP support for the measure, President Trump appears to be reversing his stance.
Even as President Trump continues to call it a Democratic hoax.
They just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration.
He's now telling House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files in a social media post late Sunday night saying Republicans have nothing to hide and it's time to move on.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off and get it done.
A growing number of House Republicans are now signaling support for the resolution to compel the Department of Justice to release all documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie and California Democrat Ro Khanna led the bipartisan effort to force the vote, which is expected as early as tomorrow.
I'd rather he release all these files. Someone was saying that his numbers would go up. I don't care if he gets the political win. It's not about Donald Trump. I don't even know how involved Trump was. There are a lot of other people who are involved who have to be held accountable.
It's still unclear whether the Senate takes up the measure, and it would need a signature from the president, who's also calling for a new investigation.
On Friday, President Trump asked the DOJ to look into alleged Epstein ties to prominent Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton, as well as major financial institutions. Congressman Massie questioned the intent of the probe.
This might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
The president dismissed Massie's concerns and criticized him. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the DOJ will pursue the matter with urgency and integrity. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
A spokesperson for Bill Clinton says the former president did nothing and knew nothing. Now, first check of your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, we're starting to see some precipitation already for parts of the area. A little bit of rain and a little bit of snow. You could see kind of that rain-snow line right to the west of Madison near Lone Rock. But even to the northwest of that, there are some light rain. There is some light rain occurring in locations. But in general, any precipitation falling right now is very light. The bulk of the system that we're expecting will begin much later today and especially impact our area tonight. So we're going going to see increasing clouds, but most of the day should be pretty dry. We're not expecting much consistent precipitation until after sunset, and most of the area will then see rain move into the area later in the evening. Now, overnight, once the temperatures cool down, some of that rain may transition to snow, but mainly for Madison and areas to the north. Locations to the south of Madison likely to see only rainfall, maybe some snowflakes at times, but I mostly expect the snow to be for Dane County and locations to the north. And some areas may actually see the snow transition back to rainfall as the temperatures then begin warming up a little bit for Tuesday morning. So a little bit of a mixed bag of that rain and snow, but a lot of the area will see rain. Overall, just kind of a messy forecast tonight, and this is expected to continue into tomorrow morning. I'll talk more in detail about accumulation a bit later, but I don't expect to see much in terms of snowfall accumulation, but we still could see some slippery roads. And obviously, when you have the situation where there's a little bit of rain and a little bit of snow, it creates just kind of messy weather. So I'll talk more in detail about it and show you the forecast for the rest of the week coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you in a few. Thank you. Well, it wasn't pretty, but the Packers are back in the win column after Sunday's win over the New York Giants, 27-20. Quarterback Jordan Love threw for 2 touchdowns, including the go-ahead score to wide receiver Christian Watson in the fourth quarter. It was Watson's second of 2 touchdowns, the first thrown by backup quarterback Malik Willis. Now, running back Emmanuel Wilson led the team in rushing with 40 yards and a touchdown. We do hope to learn more about the status of Packers star running back Josh Jacobs today. He left the game with a knee injury and did not return. Coach LaFleur says it doesn't appear to be season-ending, and they'll do more tests. The Packers' next game is against Minnesota at Green Bay on Sunday. Well, you have a chance to support the Badgers and the community as part of a special blood drive. The Big Ten is partnering with health tech company Abbott for the second year to host the competition. We Give Blood is an annual competition among Big Ten schools to see who can donate the most blood throughout the college football season. Wisconsin is currently tied for first with Nebraska at about 11,300 donors. To donate, head to big10.org/Abbott/donate and make sure to upload your proof of donation so it counts towards the competition. Still ahead for us on News 3 Now at noon. If you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now's the time to send us your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will join us later in the broadcast with the answers. But first, after the break, what came out on top of the weekend box office? Plus, if you plan to travel for Thanksgiving, you will not be alone. How many people AAA predicts will be on the road and in the air?
AAA predicts nearly 82 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles from home this Thanksgiving. More than 73 million travelers are expected to hit the road, though AAA says that number could change with the FAA announcing an end to its shutdown-related order to reduce flights. As of right now, more than 6 million Americans are expected to fly this Thanksgiving. The Ford Motor Company has unveiled its new high-tech world headquarters building in Dearborn, Michigan. The roughly 2 million square foot structure has offices, design studios, and a food hall with 7 restaurants. It sits just 3 miles away from the company's old headquarters, which is set to eventually be demolished. Ford has not disclosed the cost of the new building, though the car maker is expected to finish its move there in 2027. And Now You See Me 3 levitated to the top of the domestic weekend box office, conjuring up more than $21 million in ticket sales. Fellow newcomer The Running Man sprinted to second with $17 million. Predator Badlands fell to the third spot with $13 million. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is down 192 points, NASDAQ down 99, and the S&P 500 also down this hour 15. Pam will have today's farm numbers up next, and Jacob's tracking the first warn forecast. And later on Live at 4, the underlying dangers of diabetes, how a local man keeps doing what he loves while living with it. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. And when we left on Friday, we were hoping we weren't going to have a crabby Pam today. And the Packers won yesterday, so you got to be all smiles.
Yeah, they did scare me a little bit once in a while with those missed points after the touchdown. But yeah, I'm not quite as crabby today. Although when farmers take a look at my markets, they might get crabby. Wait on that. Let's talk a little bit about what trends we're seeing. Now that the harvest is kind of drawing to a close, Friday we got our World Ag Supply Demand Report. They lowered expectations as far as corn and soybean yields across the United States. And then there's also farmland values we have to keep an eye on. Third quarter results are out from the Federal Reserve, where they basically poll ag lenders across the region. Wisconsin, you'll see, noticing about a 7% decline in farmland values, more towards the third quarter compared to the beginning of the year. A lot of this is tied to dairy. In Wisconsin, a lot of the farmland that might be transferred is used for nutrient management planning for our dairies. If they sense that their pocketbook's going to get tight, chances are that they will be offering less money for some of the farmland that they might be purchasing. We don't see a lot of farmland transfer hands in Wisconsin in a calendar year, but like I said, lenders already noting that the value might be slipping just a little bit. The other interesting part about the farmland survey for ag lenders is that they are already seeing that some of the farms are coming to the bank a little earlier for loan demands. It is up 39% said of the bankers said that they were seeing more loan demand. 12% said lower demand. And the good news is those ag lenders say that they do have funds available. They say this year compared to last, about 90% of them said that their banks are going to be ready to go when it comes to available funds. So that's some of the good news. Some other news from Wisconsin and Dane County Dairy. I wanted to make sure that people know Dane County Dairy Promotion Board doing a little something to try to help their neighbors in need. They have donated $500 to each of our 6 food pantries around Dane County: Belleville, Black Earth, Mazomanie, Cambridge, Deerfield, DeForest, Windsor, Mount Horeb, and Waunakee, to make sure that folks that are facing some food insecurities or challenges will still have the opportunity during the holiday season to enjoy dairy products. John Haag, president of the Dane County Dairy Promoters, says it reflects their commitment to both community nourishment and agriculture education. And congratulations to Jalen Logterman, a senior from Delavan Dairy and High School. She won the 2026 Wisconsin State Park and Forest Vehicle Admission Pass design of an adventure with her dog in the water, something that you'll be able to see if you use that pass in 2026. Dairy markets today. Joshy, what can I see if I can get to my paper? Barrel cheese down 3 today at 161 1/4. 40-pound block cheese was up a penny and 3/4 at 155 3/4. Double A butter down 2 1/2 at $1.55 a pound. So again, a little on again, off again level fare with our dairy products. And speaking of off again, the black truck will be rolling on the highway tomorrow. We're out, hopefully, in not too dangerous weather situation on our way to Kansas City for the National Farm Broadcasting Convention. I'll have to catch up with you next Monday.
All right, safe travels and have some barbecue for me. You better show some pictures online. All right, Pam, talk to you later. Time now for your certified most accurate forecast with First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We're going to see a rain-snow mix tonight, which may lead to some slippery roads for tomorrow morning. Best chance of snow will be for areas north of Madison. And then after this system, we'll cool down a little bit, but we'll see some milder temperatures by the end of the week. Still on the cooler side, but a little bit better than the last 2 days. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, that little bit of rain and snow I talked about earlier kind of dissipating a little bit. Again, we're not expected to see much during the day today. Most of that is going to move in once we get towards the overnight hours after sunset. Most of the region will see it start out as rain, and it's going to be rain throughout much of the evening into the early overnight hours. But then we'll start to see it transition to snow around midnight, especially for Madison and areas to the north. But it's not going to stay as snow because some areas that see the snow around midnight may also see it transition back into rain as we get closer to sunrise tomorrow morning. Again, Madison and areas to the south pretty much exclusively going to see rainfall. And then as we get towards the morning hours Tuesday after sunrise, we'll still likely see a little bit of a wintry mix in the morning. morning with a better chance of snow for areas in central Wisconsin. And you folks in the far northern portion of our area may see that snow last into the early afternoon. But then once we get towards the middle afternoon hours tomorrow, that's when it looks like all the precipitation will clear out of the area. Now, as far as snowfall accumulation, this is going to exclusively be for areas north of Madison. Barely any accumulation for the Dells, maybe about 1 to 2 inches in the far northern portion of our area. You folks in Juneau, Adams, Marquette, Green Lake counties, that's the best chance of accumulation, but I still only expect to see about 1 inch, maybe some isolated amounts higher just to the north of our region. Now, as we look at the temperature forecast, today we'll see highs in the middle 40s. Again, we're going to see clouds really increase throughout the afternoon, and we're going to continue to see the cloudy skies and that rain and snow mix move in. Low temperatures in the middle 30s, right around freezing for areas to the north where the best chance of snow will occur. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see cold temperatures again, highs near 40. Cloudy skies will continue, but again, most of the precipitation will be gone by, honestly, the late morning, and some areas may see no precipitation at all tomorrow, as the best chance will be overnight. Now, precipitation chances beyond tonight into tomorrow will be pretty hard to come by. We'll see a few small chances from Wednesday night through the day on Friday, but most of that will actually just be in the form of rain as temperatures will warm up a little bit. And looking at that temperature forecast, not going to be a dramatic warm up, but we could see those temperatures return to the 50s by the end of the work week, maybe into Sunday, before we do see those temperatures drop back down for the middle of next week. But overall, not too far from the norm, which is supposed to be in the middle 40s this time of the year. So after the rain snow mix tonight into tomorrow, not going to see a ton of precipitation. At least we're not going to see anything major in terms of big systems rolling through, but a few small chances of precipitation will continue as those temperatures do warm up a little bit towards next weekend.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Just ahead at noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. You can email them to tips@channel3000.com, and we'll get the answers next. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. You can email them now to tips@channel3000.com. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
1 week before Thanksgiving.
I know.
Is it crazy?
like 8 days. It's crazy.
It's going to be here before we know it.
I know. And then the big C, Christmas.
Sneaking up on us. All right.
Sneaking up.
What do we have here?
So we have been getting poinsettias in and Christmas trees and all kinds of other stuff. But I thought I would bring this, as we call it, a holiday cactus. I know everybody calls it a Christmas cactus. It really is a Thanksgiving cactus. And the way you tell the difference are the leaves.
Okay.
On a Christmas cactus, these sharp little wings are not on there. It's a smooth lobe, where a Thanksgiving cactus has these little wings. And most of the cactus that you're going to find in garden centers or stores at this time of year are going to be Thanksgiving cactuses, because Christmas cactus are harder to get to bloom. They also don't come in all these pretty colors. We brought a peach one in a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You can't usually find Christmas cactus in the variety of colors that Thanksgiving cactus are available.
Well, for those people that want to wait until Christmas, they can have a Thanksgiving cactus.
They bloom for a long time. So if it's starting to bloom now, it'll be blooming for a few weeks. So it'll be good.
Learn some new stuff. All right, let's get to the questions. We're going to start with Rita. Rita says she recently filled 2 outdoor pots with spring bulbs. Does she need to put them in the garage for the winter? She says, FYI, the garage is unheated.
Yes, they will not survive in pots outside. So put them, best place in your garage is the corner that is closest to the house, and put something underneath, a tray or a mat or something, and then every few weeks clean out your ice maker in your freezer and throw some ice cubes in there. You don't want it to completely dry out, but if you just water them, the water just runs through and makes a icy puddle in your unheated garage. So use some ice cubes. They will melt slowly and keep the bulbs hydrated.
Oh, perfect. All right, let's get to Sue's question. Question number 2. Sue asks about Creeping Charlie, the best way to treat it now or in the spring?
So Creeping Charlie is a pretty tenacious weed. It is too late to treat it now, and you really have to do it 3 times. So in the spring, as it flowers, perfect time. Then in the fall, as it's starting to go dormant, you can tell that because the leaves get kind of purpley. and then again the next spring when it's starting to flower. And you'll want to get a weed killer that's rated strong enough for Creeping Charlie, and there are several on the market. So come see us in the garden center in April. We'll hook you up.
Well, let's hope we can just get through winter, and then we'll be happy in April once we're
yes,
over
let's hope
winter,
we get some snow.
Yes, we need that too.
For so many reasons. It's a gardener's friend.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Especially around the holidays.
And it just looks so pretty.
Freshens things up.
I think so too.
All right, Lisa, thank you for coming with your Thanksgiving cactus.
You're very welcome.
Let's go to Jacob now for a final check of your first warn forecast.
Thanks, Josh. We could get a little snow tonight, but it's likely not going to accumulate, at least here in Madison. The far northern portions of our area could see about an inch of snow, but most of the region will see mostly rain out of this. Could create a little bit of a slippery travel condition for tomorrow morning, but that's going to melt away pretty quickly any snow that does accumulate. Beyond that, we aren't going to see much precipitation this week. We will see some temperatures warm up a little bit, highs back in the lower 50s possible from Thursday through Sunday. We will then see some colder temperatures again by the middle of next week, but beyond tonight, again, not seeing anything too major precipitation-wise in the forecast.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. Our next newscast is live at 4, and a reminder, you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. We'll have the latest on that Beltline crash and more news at 4.